Welcome to the Krista Escamilla Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Krista Escamilla Show. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. As always, I appreciate your time. I know it is precious, and we're so glad you're choosing to listen, learn, and grow with us. Three of my favorite things. So thank you for being here today. I'm so excited to introduce today's guest, but before we do so, we want to thank our sponsors because we are so grateful to our sponsors for allowing us to share the stories of amazing people, amazing West Texans, and really to get to learn from their knowledge, and that's what I love. So thank you to start off with Kevin Foreman of Foreman Financial, Rig ID Workwear, Hotel Santa Rita, also to ThinFR, JoinCapClub.com, and Tapestry Hotel Midland. We thank you for your support, and we thank you for supporting local, because as I just say, hey, support these local businesses however you can, but just support local wherever you are. Thank you again for being here. John Norman is joining us today. And John, I have to say, it is such a pleasure to have you with us today. So I'm going to give some titles before we jump into our podcast. First, one of my favorite titles, husband and dad, because I know that is the most important. We also have entrepreneur, coach, former Texas Tech football player, right?
Yes,
former Texas Tech football player, city councilman, small business owner of two amazing businesses, Power 5 Sports League and Roundup Inc., and probably a lot more titles that we don't even have time to say, because when you're a small business owner, I mean, the title list is this long. So thank you so much for being with us today.
No, thank you for having me. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, and yeah, thank you. Thank you again for having me.
And your first podcast. I'm excited.
My first podcast ever. I guess I'm a little nervous, but I've done a lot of interviews, but not in the podcast setting. So.
I was going to say, you're a pro. You're a pro. We're just two friends here chatting and learning about your story. And that's what I love about today, because I've known you for many years, but once again, I just know bits and pieces, right? And so today we get to learn a little bit more about you and just, about your heart and your heart for this community. So I can't wait to hear it. First of all, though, how did you get to West Texas?
How did I get to West Texas? Well, I was born in Midland Memorial Hospital.
There you go. I love that. That is the original way to get to West Texas. I love it.
that's the way to come.
It is.
My father, who is from Stamford, Texas, and my mother is from Fort Worth. But then, my mother moved here to Midland. My dad, they moved to Wink at a young age, and then ended up moving to Odessa. And so my dad, he graduated from Ector High School when there was a high school in Odessa, and my mother from Midland Lee here in Midland. And so then my dad was coming over here to Midland, and and so he met my mother. Yeah, he met my mother, and
as I like to say, they got together.
They got together. Yes, and the rest was history.
I love it.
And like I said, I was born in Midland Memorial, and along with my other two brothers. I'm the oldest of three, and
you're the oldest.
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. Okay. Wonderful.
I'm the oldest of three brothers. I'm right now I'm 44. I'll be 45 this year, and then my middle brother Josh is 43. He'll be 44 this year, and then my youngest Joe is 41.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's
How fun was that growing up? I mean, because you guys were close in age.
Yeah.
Three boys. I bet there was some rough housing going on and some fun.
Very much so.
And some fun at the same time.
Yeah, very much so. My parents separated when I was in 5th grade, and my mom moved back to Dallas. And so in the summers, we'd go back to Dallas. And so I kind of tell people, I kind of grew up in Midland and Dallas.
Yeah.
Half my life in Dallas. And yeah, my mom was single parents, working all the time. We were at the house.
Yep, I understand. I was raised by a single mom. You're just kind of you're getting it done for yourself right there at the house. Yeah,
absolutely. And so we ran around in the streets of Dallas and ran around in the country of Midland, I like to say. So
kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
really.
The best of both worlds.
Got to see both sides of growing up, and
absolutely.
And at what point did you start to foster your love of sports? Was it at an early age? Was it?
It was. So I started playing. So soccer was my first love.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was the first sport I ever played was soccer.
I don't think soccer gets enough love.
It doesn't.
Because well, through Ted Lasso, did you ever see the show Ted Lasso on Netflix?
No, I didn't.
You should watch it. I think you'll love it. It's really good. I feel like the last couple of years, I think it came out in COVID or something, but it's
Okay.
all about soccer.
Yeah.
And I thought, we don't hear enough about soccer,
About
or,
soccer,
especially for
yeah.
kids, because it's such a good sport for
It is.
kids.
It's a very good sport. It's it takes a lot of hand-eye coordination, and it's great for the feet.
Yes.
Great for your feet. And so, yeah, so I started playing soccer in third grade. Well, actually in second grade. And then, a coach saw me playing one day, running around, and wanted me to come out to football. So I started playing football. And, throughout the years, I just played every sport there was out there, basically playing soccer, football, and basketball, and just going through, all the sports. I played baseball 1 year. And
you
I
said-
couldn't hit the ball. So
You said, that's it for me.
yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I mean, it wasn't. I couldn't hit the ball, and I was scared to get up there to get hit
by the ball.
pitch. Yeah, exactly.
I don't blame you there.
But I did lead the league in steals.
Nice.
Yeah, I was. So the guy that could hit the best, they get him on base, and then they put me in
That's
to go
right.
run the bases. So yeah, I think I had one hit that entire year, and I just wasn't for me.
Said not for me. See, and I think it's just as important to know what you do want to do as you don't want to do. And you
Yes.
said, nope, that's it.
Couldn't do
No
it.
more baseball.
No more baseball.
What is it that you loved about sports growing up?
Man, I tell you, sports to me is just about. It's really a game, but it's a game that translates in the game of life.
Yes, I could not agree more.
Yeah, it's you learn so many things through sports, and my forte, I guess you could say, is football.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to tell people, football is the ultimate team sport, because everybody on the field has to be doing their job in order to be successful.
Right.
I mean, you take basketball, for instance, you can do the one-on-one and all of that type of stuff, in single sports. But in football, everybody has to be doing their job. If one person misses their job, then, can't execute as well.
That's so true. We always hear there's no I in team, but it really, in football, it means it. I mean,
Yeah. It's the epitome of it,
Yeah.
absolutely. But yeah, it translates into the game of life, because, you have so many things in life that relate, whether you're in the corporate America, if you're out there being an entrepreneur, whatever it is, it's so many things that you can relate to socially, how to deal with people, how to deal with different people, because everyone's different. And so they come from all walks of life. And so, excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But that's what I think it just relates to the game of life. And I think the more you can be exposed to those things, then the better off you are in being successful in life.
Right. And it also, you have people behind you, and those coaches, like you are now for your players.
Yes, ma'am.
That are instrumental in your growth.
Absolutely.
And growing up. And having someone, I always feel like you need to have someone believe in you until you believe in yourself, right?
Absolutely.
And those coaches are so instrumental in doing that, and really giving you confidence that will then trickle into the other areas of your life, right?
Yes.
I want to ask you, and we're going to get to that later when we talk more coaching, but I want to ask you, at what point did you think, you know what, I love this game, I think I want to play on the college level?
That's funny. Because I was thinking about this the other day, and it was really my junior year in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, my junior year in high school. So I was always good at playing at the sport, and I was one of the few, So our freshman is separate from my high schools out here, and I was one of the few sophomores to be on varsity since their sophomore year. So for 3 years, a 3-year letterman. I was one of, I think, about 3 people total to be on varsity, and not just be on varsity, but starting on varsity.
Which I want to say, for people who are not in West Texas and that are listening around the world, because we have listeners around the world,
Yes.
football in West Texas is huge, right? So
it's
to
pretty
make
big.
it
Yeah.
as a sophomore onto varsity,
Yes.
that's pretty big.
Yeah,
right?
it's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
And we also had great teams back then as well.
Friday Night Lights?
Yeah,
I mean, was that the era? That's what I'm thinking.
It was
Yeah.
right after
for
that era. So it was
Okay.
it was that era, but it was right after the 88 and all of that season.
Right,
but
right.
Yeah, but and Lee was Permian's rival. So we were always head to head going at it, and the teams always went deep in the playoffs and stuff like that. So I was one of 3 people that started on varsity as a sophomore, and again at that time I was just playing the game, and I guess my junior year is when I really exploded. Had a great season. I was getting letters, getting recruited by everyone in the country.
Wow.
And that was when I.
What'd that feel like? I mean, that must have been.
It was pretty cool. It's a little different than what it is today, but at that time, it was really like, dang, when you getting a letter from Florida State or anywhere across the country, Michigan was a big one.
Wow.
That I wanted to go to Michigan. I remember how it was certain teams that I liked growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
And just because of their colors or the way they look, their mascot and all of that type of stuff. I'm a big animal fanatic, so
all the reasons why you think,
yes.
that's my favorite team.
That's my favorite team. Yeah. And so, but it was funny when it came down to it. I was like, wait a minute, Michigan too cold. I don't like that cold weather now.
I love your process of elimination because that would have been mine too.
Yeah,
like,
buddy.
There's snow on the ground. I got to play football in the snow. No, I'm good.
Yeah, but in high school, it kind of helped me make that decision. Like I said, I was getting recruited by everyone my junior year, and then when it came down to my senior year, and I was trickling down to what teams I wanted to go to and stuff like that. That was my process of elimination. Was like, hey, it's too cold over there. I'd love to be over here. It was a lot of things involved in that though. So but it was fun though. That recruiting process was really fun because, it was different rules back then. Like I said,
right.
we used to take trips up to Texas Tech all the time because it was an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
So the games and stuff, we take an unofficial visit where we drive up there, go to the game, all of that type of stuff, and so we built a really good relationship with Texas Tech.
Right.
But all of the other ones, like we can only go on 3 official recruiting trips.
Right.
And
so you had to narrow it down.
I had to narrow it down.
Which is a good problem to have, I just want to say.
Yeah.
But a tough one at age, 16?
16, 17, yeah, because I graduated early. I turned 18 after we graduated.
Yeah.
But,
so it's young to make that decision.
Yeah, making that decision, like I said, growing up when you're little, you see the older, you, as a young kid, you're watching the college teams and all of that type of stuff, even the NFL teams. And you like people for different reasons, but then when it comes down to you making that decision, like, okay, now it's a lot of things that come into play. I mean,
so how did you pick Tech?
Man, so picking Tech. No, it's a big question because it was a lot of reasons why I picked Tech. At the time, my first wife was my high school sweetheart. She was going to Midland High, and I wanted to go somewhere where she could go because she was a year older than me. So she actually went to Midland College and stayed a year until I made my decision. Yeah. My best friend in the whole wide world, Antoine, he had an opportunity to go to Tech as well. And then, so really what it came down to was Texas and Miami in Texas Tech.
Wow.
Yeah, that's who it came down to. So Miami.
That is crazy to hear it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Those are some big offers. Yeah.
They were. I got recruited by everyone in the nation, except who was it? Florida.
What were you thinking, Florida?
I know, right?
right. How did they miss
Except Florida. I was like, but yeah, it was a crazy process.
Yeah.
Miami came to my house, Texas came to my house, Michigan came to my house. Of course, Arkansas, Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, all of the schools in Texas. USC, they didn't come to my house, but they recruited me. I was recruited by everybody.
That's huge. Yeah.
And, I was a parade All-American my senior year. And then, like I said, when it came down to it my senior year and narrowing it down to Miami, Texas, and Texas Tech, well, my girlfriend at the time, my first wife, it really wouldn't be feasible for her to go to Miami with the out-of-state tuition.
Yeah. That out-of-state tuition is no joke. Oh, my goodness.
And
wow.
so,
No, you're right.
I mean, nowadays, you could probably negotiate that and be like, hey, if I come down there, you got to bring my girlfriend.
You probably get some NIL money.
Probably negotiate that nowadays.
Probably.
But, that was a thing then. And then, Texas, I really didn't. I mean, Texas was a good school, but they just seemed a little arrogant for me.
Gotcha.
And so just going to Texas Tech, man, it just fit within all of the processes.
It was right for you.
It was right for me.
And I think that's important because I was going to ask you, what advice would you give to kids, like to the younger generation that is aspiring, to play in college or play at the next level like you did?
Right.
Like, what advice would you give them? And I think, and this is just my unofficial, nobody was recruiting me for anything, but I say you have to find the school that fits you best.
Absolutely.
And you have to go visit and you have to do the things. But what advice would you give? I
mean, I would give the same advice, go to it depends on what you're going for as well.
Right.
If, in football, I stick with that because that's what I know. It's a lot of times where, they might be full at the position that you want to play, and you could probably start at another school, but you'd be sitting on the bench for 3 or 4 years at one school.
And that happens, right?
Yes, it happens all the time. Yeah. And that's why this transfer portal is so crazy.
I'm going to ask your opinion on that next. That and NIL money. I want to know what you think on both of those.
And so, that's the advice I would give is go to the school that's right for you. Visit the school, see how the coaches are, and, if it feels right for you to go there, then I say take that opportunity.
And did you have a good experience at Tech?
I had a great experience at Tech.
Fantastic.
I tell people all the time those were the best years of my life, even though they were crazy at times.
Right.
But,
well, it's hard being a student athlete.
Yeah.
I'm just a parent of one, but I can imagine the amount of pressure and stress, and really it seems like lack of time, right? The time to get from, I remember so clearly, our oldest, his first year in college, he said, well, is this a 5-minute in between, or do I have 30 minutes in between where I need to be next? He was like, how trying to figure out how to eat, like when do I have to do my laundry, right? All the things that you're now doing when you're adulting that first year, right?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
It's busy.
I love animals. I was an animal enthusiast growing up. I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons I was looking at A&M.
Okay.
But then Texas Tech said they had a pre-vet program, so I said, okay, I'll go to Texas Tech.
Sounds good.
And so I was in pre-vet medicine my freshman year, playing football in pre-vet medicine. So I don't know if people know or not, but Texas Tech is like the largest campus in the country, or second largest now. Area-wise,
to get across campus.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I was taking pre-vet classes on one side of the campus and then have to ride my bike across campus and barely making it to class or not making it at all a lot of times. And so all of those things you have to deal with. And then, they say student athlete, but they really want you to be an athlete first.
Athlete student.
Athlete student if you're, especially if you're on scholarship.
Right.
So.
That's a good point.
So it was, that was crazy juggling all of that. And, eventually I eventually dropped out of veterinarian and went into exercise and sports science. And those classes were a little bit closer together.
Nice. You didn't have as big of a stretch to get across campus. Then you could just walk down the hall. Nice.
Yeah, and at times take the bus too. That was good too. Shoot, and then when you got older, then you had your own vehicle and all of that type of stuff. So
right.
it was great times.
Good times,
So,
good times. Let's talk about those other things. And gosh, this one could go an hour. Just warning y'all. Just warning the producer over there, because I have so many questions. Let's talk, because you mentioned the portal, and you mentioned, and I mentioned NIL, because I want to know your thoughts as being a former college athlete. What are your thoughts on transferring, because you had a great experience, stayed at a school for 4 years,
Right.
that wasn't a thing back then, right? You didn't transfer as often.
Yes.
And then also getting paid in college. Do you think it's too much too soon for these kids? Because Al and I talk all the time, you can't skip steps in life.
Right.
So is it, what are your thoughts on it? Is it skipping steps?
So, my thought. I'll start with the portal.
Okay.
With the transfer portal, I think it's a good thing. But it can be a bad thing. Okay. And the reason I say that is,
and that is not a politician's answer there.
No. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why.
That's right.
I'm not just gonna sit on the fence, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm sitting on the fence.
That's right. I know you will have a good answer for that.
So, it can be a good thing because, you do have a lot of kids. Okay, so you take a school like Alabama.
Right.
Alabama has a lot of 5-star, 4-star kids or whatnot, and you have kids that's sitting on the bench, until their senior year. You never hear about them until their senior year because they get to play their senior year.
Right.
Now, that can be a good thing sometimes because you're learning, you're growing, you're in the weight room, you're doing all of these things. You have more time to focus on your studies as well.
True.
You're doing all of these things, and then by the time your senior year comes around, then you get to shine and try to get to the NFL. But then it can be a bad thing because now that it's so open in the portal, you have people that may be going through a thing 1 year, their freshman year or whatnot, and then they quit. And so quitting is getting into that portal and saying, well, I'll just go somewhere else.
Right.
Well, I'll just go somewhere else. So that's the thing.
So it can be giving up too soon.
It can be giving up too soon, because a lot of kids, like what we had was called red shirt.
Yeah.
A lot of kids, and they still do have it, but a lot of kids with red shirt, they wouldn't even play, but they'd be in that weight room and all of those things, adjusting to the college atmosphere. Right. And then, being able to play later on and end up being, great players.
Yeah. Are you in favor of redshirting then?
Absolutely.
For the right, if it fits you.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I'm absolutely in favor of that. I mean, we had a couple of guys that were like 6-year players at a school, because they had a gray shirt and a red shirt and all these different shirts.
What's a gray shirt? I've never heard of the gray shirt.
I think the gray shirt is when they get hurt, when you actually get hurt.
Okay.
So it's like a medical year you can take. So
and then there was a COVID year, like recent years.
And then you had COVID.
You could have had a COVID year or a red shirt year.
So you could be a 7 to 8 year
28
player.
and you're still in college.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think it just has to. It has to be monitored, right?
Yeah.
I believe, because if you're just bouncing around, just because you're not getting this opportunity or, excuse me, you feel like you're getting slighted or whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best way to use it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it can be good and bad.
Yes.
That's a good example. And what about the NIL money? Because I know that's something that has definitely changed since you were in college.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts? Do you think kids should get paid while they're in college?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. I really do. My thoughts on it is you have an institution
Right.
that makes, and not all of them, but a lot of them they make millions of dollars off the backs of these kids that's playing.
That's true.
They give you a scholarship, but that's only so much compared to what they're making. A lot of times I tell people it's funny because people talk about the NIL for football, but you have kids that come straight out of high school playing baseball, whether it's AAA but they getting drafted and all of that type of stuff. You have golfers, you have tennis players that are playing at 15, 16 years old, younger than football.
Right.
But nobody says anything about them getting paid.
Right.
But but football is a different sport, which I understand, but I feel like they should. I mean,
And if someone's offering you millions of dollars, right, you take it.
Man, especially
for your gift.
especially depending on the situation that a lot of these kids, they come from a background where they don't have anything,
right?
And they're struggling to make ends meet. And if they're having the opportunity to help their families, then they're taking those opportunities. And it's a lot of kids out there like that. And the reality of it is, what I tell people also is, this has been going on for a long time. It's just now being legal.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, if we really want to talk about it, they've been doing this for a long time, the $100 handshakes and all of that type of stuff. But now it's legal to do it, so they're, all out in the open with it.
Which is good. They should be out
there.
Yeah,
and they should be out in the open with it, instead of doing it under the table and all of that type of stuff. I mean, it was a reason why, SMU and the Pony Express got one of the best running backs ever, Eric Dickerson, to come out there, versus another school and all of this type of stuff. And I think they should be. I think it's good that it's out in the open because they've been doing it for a long time. But now it's just where they can. I think everybody would have to adjust to it. Yeah. Because it is, I do see it as a problem for some who don't have the money to create these NIL deals and stuff like that, as much to compete with these other schools that do. Right. But at the end of the day, like I said, they've been doing it anyway. They had the donors and they had the money people to push these things under the table, and so now they can just do it out in the open.
Is there anything you would change in collegiate sports, being that you were in it, you were there, that you would like to see a difference, for the next generation?
I don't know if it's anything that I'd change. I think, I love the collegiate game. It's a little bit different than the NFL. Than the highest level.
Which do you prefer, NFL or college? Because a lot of football fans, right? They either they're diehard NFL or they're diehard college. Which one do you land on? So
as a former player, at both levels, I love the NFL game. I think it is because you have people out there that it's the best of the best. You have people that you never hear from until they get to the NFL, and it's like, dang, what school did they go to?
Right.
I think that's true for every level. As you go up from high school to college, the players are better.
Right.
But in the NFL, everybody's good. Everybody's fast. Everybody's quick. Everybody's strong.
Right. It's kind of like when you leave high school, right? You leave high school,
yes.
You're kind of the cream of the crop here, right?
Yes.
You go to college, everybody's really good.
Everybody's good.
But then it steps up another level when you go to the NFL. And wait, so you were in the NFL? You just said you played both.
Yes, I did.
I did not know that. You learn something new every day. I didn't get to work that into your bio. Where did you play?
So I actually played about, I want to say 3 months in the NFL.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So after I left Texas Tech, I was asked by the Philadelphia Eagles to come in as a free agent.
Nice.
So I came in as a free agent. I was up there in the summer working out, doing the mini camps, and then going through the preseason. And then I made it to the last cut. So we had like 4. It was supposed to be 4 preseason games, but we played 3. Ended up canceling one because the field was so bad.
I was going to say weather. Was it bad weather?
No, it was Vet Stadium in Philly.
Okay.
It's one of the worst. It was one of the worst stadiums to play at. The field was just so bad, and I'm talking about filling in holes and stuff with dirt and everything like that. And the NFLPA, the players, they was like, we're not finna play this game on this. It was actually against the Ravens, and so Ray Lewis was one of my idols growing up. But Ray Lewis and I'm forgetting the other guy's name, but the players, they got together and said, no, we're not going to play this game.
Wow.
And it was crazy because I really saw how like Philly fans really are. And like they started rioting and setting trash cans on fire and all this.
Like you don't mess with their game day, right? They were ready.
And
they
this
were
was a
set.
preseason game.
Yeah, it wasn't even a real game day.
It wasn't even a real game. It was a preseason.
You don't cancel that.
I was like, wow.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I made it to the last cut, man. I got cut on the last one, the last 53-man roster. So yeah, they called me in and said, we need your playbook. And I took my playbook in and ended up being out for a year. And then I went into arena football and played arena football for like 7 years after that.
Awesome. Very cool. So you have seen all spectrums of the game.
Of the game, yeah.
And now you are a coach pouring back, and you've been a coach for a while. This isn't just something new, but you get to pour into the next generation. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, we do something I call quote of the day.
Okay.
So you're going to pick out from the mystery pile here, and then you will read the quote, and you'll tell me what it means to you. So you got the active card, which how appropriate. So go ahead and turn because you're so active.
Okay.
And so what does the quote say?
So success seems to be connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. Conrad Hilton.
Good quote. What does that mean to you?
That is a good quote. It's actually a quote that I live by in a way, not this specific, but it's just about perseverance. And it's something that it's funny, my younger brother, he had a little clique when he was at Texas Tech, and they had a saying of keep on pushing, KOP. He got it tattooed on him and everything.
Awesome.
But that relates to this quote about, no matter what you're doing, what you're going through, man, you could be feeling like you're at the bottom, but don't give up and just keep on pushing. And, by doing that, at least you have the opportunity to be successful.
Yes.
Because if you quit, you
don't
know what that is.
You're done.
You're done.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I love that. Keep on pushing.
Keep on pushing. KOP.
KOP. Because it is so true. Because in life, people see other people, right, and they think that they're living this dream life, or everybody has their highs and their lows.
Absolutely.
And there are times, and you never know when someone's going through that low, when they need to hear that keep on pushing. And so if you're going through that right now, we want to be that word for you today, is keep KOP.
On pushing.
I love it.
Ma'am.
That's so true. Is there, and I love that quote, that you picked that one, and I asked you earlier, is there any other quote that maybe you live by?
Man,
you got one?
Man, I have several.
Oh,
man.
good. I love a fellow quote person. I live by quotes, John. I am just like, I've got books full of them. My phone is full of them too. So I love it because I feel like it's what's that? There's a quote about bathing, right? You need to do it daily. It's like motivation is like bathing. You need to do it
like bathing.
Yeah,
you need to do it
daily.
Okay.
So there you go. There's a quote about motivations and quotes.
Man, I have to find. That's what I was looking for earlier. But man, I have so many quotes, man. But I'll tell you one.
Okay.
It's a little bit different than I think a lot of people would know. But it was this quote by Fannie Lou Hamer.
Okay.
She's a black activist back in the 50s and 60s. And it was one quote that's famous by her. She always said, you can pray until you faint. But if you don't get up and do something, God is not going to put it in your lap.
That is so true.
And that was I thought was a great quote because it is, it relates to the Bible, but it's also almost scripture because, it talks about faith without works is dead, and so you have to gotta get out there and do the work. You can have all the faith in the world and, God got me, and which he does, but you gotta put that work in order to see the fruits of your labor.
I love that quote. That is so wonderful because And maybe we can talk more about this, but why is it you think sometimes we get stuck there in the inaction of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Where you're praying on it, that's all you can think of, but you can't take the next step. And we've all been there in certain
Yeah,
things in our life.
absolutely.
And nobody is without feeling this. So I just want to say, if you are feeling stuck, how do you take that action? What is it, that you've done in your life that has helped you?
For me, it's real simple. Like you asked the question, why do we get stuck there? And for me, I believe is basically fear.
Yeah.
Fear of the unknown, fear of whatever.
Fear of failure.
Fear of failure. It's just fear.
Right.
The fear factor, I think, is what holds a lot of people back. But then if you just do it through the fear, that's why I say it's simple, because it's just like Nike. They say just do it.
Right.
So
Which is one of my favorite quotes.
There you go.
I love Nike's slogan.
And so just doing it through
do
the
it.
fear. It's funny. I was talking to my son the other day, and he was talking about how he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go back to school. It was the last week of school because he was didn't want to take the test. He said this science test was hard. I don't want to take the science test. I said, Bray, it's only hard if you don't know it. Have you been practicing? Have you been studying? Yes. Well, you should be prepared enough to go in and confident enough to go ahead and take the test. And he said, but I don't know. I just don't know this, and I'm hesitant and all this. And I said, well, that's just fear. But God didn't give us a spirit of fear. He gave us a spirit of peace and love and sound mind. And he was like, man, you sure right.
That is good advice.
He was like, you sure right. And he went back in there telling his mom and stuff. He said, Daddy told me something good today.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'm usually hard on him. I'm like, nah, man, just go do it. And,
Right. There were no reason to be fearful. You got this.
You got this.
You're the coach in you came out, right?
Exactly.
But that was a great parenting advice. It really was.
I had to take a different approach on that one at that time. And that's just, I'm not a religious person per se. I grew up in the church and all of that type of stuff, but I do have a fear, respectful fear of God, and I do believe Christ is the Lord and Savior of my life, and so I take a lot of things from the Bible and just try to translate it in my own life.
I love that. What is the best parenting advice you were ever given? Because that was really good parenting advice you gave that day. What was the best advice? Yeah, I think it was. I really do.
I don't know, man. I really don't like giving parenting advice because, I tell people all the time, that like every kid is different.
Yes, they are.
It's almost like, teaching or coaching. You can't just coach one way, your way, or teach your way one way.
Right.
Because people learn differently.
That's
and
right.
so you may approach a situation, real hard on somebody, and they can take that and they can be used to that. But if it's somebody that's not, you have to change and be willing to change and alter your approach on how you deal with certain situations. So that's, if I had to give any advice, I would just say be patient. Be patient, because everybody doesn't learn the same, and everybody doesn't learn at the same time either.
That's so true.
It may take someone 4 or 5 years to do something that another person, it might take 5 minutes.
Right. That's true.
So it's just being patient, man, and just having a heart to listen and try to tune in to what you think works for them.
I love that. Let's switch gears to coaching, because you are an amazing coach. You are pouring into the youth in our community and have been for how many years now? What year are you going on for Power 5 Sports League and Roundup Inc.?
So Power 5 Sports League has actually been going for 2 years.
Okay.
But I've been coaching, I want to say about 20 years.
Wow. That's
awesome.
awesome.
I started when I first moved back to Midland. I was here for a short stint in, I'm forgetting the year it was, but it was like around 2002.
Okay.
03. I was here for a short time. It was before I went, because I coached the Broncos in the GMFL, which is the league I played in. And then I ended up getting a job in arena football, and so that's why I ended up leaving.
Gotcha.
Towards the end of that season. So I was coaching then.
Right.
Coaching the Broncos, and then so I've been coaching ever since then. I've always known that I wanted to do something involving kids.
Yeah.
I used to do camps and stuff like that in the summertime in other people's camps, and then I got a coaching opportunity at a junior college at Arizona Western Junior College. This was in 2009. And I coached out there for a year, and then my dad needed help in the oil field, and so I moved back to help him and got out of coaching again.
It keeps pulling you back in.
Yeah, it keeps pulling me back in.
Back.
Pulling me back in. And was doing that for a while, and then until I finally transitioned out of the oil field completely and went into my love of coaching and working with kids.
Yeah, those are two of my favorite things: sports and kids.
Sports and kids.
What is it that you love about it? What is it that you love about when you show up that day and you're coaching, whether it's track, football, and fitness, whatever it is you're focusing on that day? What is it you love about it?
Man, I can tell you what I love about it is pouring into kids. I was fortunate enough to have people, including my dad, who was very involved in my life when I was young. Yeah. On my website right now, I have a Hall of Fame, and it's different people that influenced me or had influence on my life growing up, whether it was in educational or sports.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And so just taking, soaking it all in from the people that inspired me, coaches, teachers, all of these different people. Yeah. I wanted to be that, that's what my dad was for us growing up, and I wanted to be that. And so I've just taken a liking to that where, it's funny, I tell people I have two sons, one biological son, but then I feel like I have a whole bunch of sons and daughters, that I have some type of impact in their lives every day, and then just people that don't have those opportunities that I saw when I was growing up. I was fortunate enough to where my dad, he worked in the oil field. We weren't just poor, but we weren't the richest people around.
Right.
We made do.
Right.
We had something to eat every day. Had
roof over
our head,
right.
all of that type of stuff. My dad did a great job, and but I had friends that didn't. They used to come over our house.
Right.
And all of these types of things. And so I see that it's still like that. These kids. It's a lot of kids that don't have all of these opportunities, and I just was inspired by our coaches. My dad was one of the coaches, picking up other kids and taking them to practice and all of that type of stuff, and we do that now.
Right.
And just giving these kids an opportunity. I think we've taken it a step further by now giving them an opportunity not only to play here, but going outside of the state, going out.
Yes.
It's a nationwide deal where we give them opportunity to play against kids from Maryland or kids from Connecticut and all of that type of stuff. And it's been a great deal, man.
And that's important because I think it's important for kids to. Our motto here is dream big and believe and never give up. If you don't know what's out there and you don't see,
right.
you don't know. If you stay here and you have to go and try the next level, right?
Absolutely.
To keep that that goal, that inspiration, to see what is out there. What has that done for your kids? Because I know you guys had a big championship, right? That you went to.
We had a championship in Florida.
Yeah.
So it's funny, like kids talk to me all the time about, going places and stuff like that. And I football it was great for me. Mm-hmm. Traveled all over the country, playing different teams, all this type of stuff. But the reality of it is choir which I was in high school, it actually took me out of the country.
Really?
Yes.
That is so cool. See,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you for a fun fact later. That would have been a good one to
Oh, yeah.
drop.
Yeah.
You were in choir. I love
Yes.
that. Because choir, really, you can go to some cool places. Where'd you go?
Oh, absolutely. Like we went to Vienna, Austria. So we were in Vienna and traveled in Germany, and we were singing in the cathedrals and all of that type of stuff
That's
out there.
incredible.
And yeah, it was, man. And that was my junior year in high school. And yeah, we raised money and all of that type of stuff. I actually had a little singing group called the Fab Five. It was me and 4 other guys.
That's so cool.
And that's what we did is we went around to the Petroleum Club and places like that, singing. Yes, sir. He was.
He was? I love
Antoine,
that.
yep. Antoine.
I'm trying to think if we've heard Coach A sing before. We have. You're right. He can
there you go.
sing. He can sing. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting. The Fab Five. I had no
Fab
idea.
Five, yeah. We
You've
used
learned
to,
2 fun facts today already. We haven't even gotten to the fun fact part. This is great.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was a great time, man. We used to go to the junior highs and stuff singing and just going around singing and raising money so we could go on this trip to Vienna, Austria.
But what did that help you do? Did it help you see that there's a
Absolutely.
bigger something out there?
It's
right?
a whole different world,
Yeah.
other than this bubble that we live in
Yeah.
Midland. And it was a great experience. We were out there for, I think it was like 2 weeks or something. But it was a great experience. Just seeing different cultures, all of that type of stuff. And, yeah, it was, and that's what I want to bring, to these younger kids that we deal with on a daily basis. Is even though it's not Vienna, Austria, but going to Florida. We went to Florida this past year, took a 11U All-Star team out there, and actually ended up winning the whole thing.
That is amazing.
It was our first year last year, and we won the championship. It was an All-Star 11U division.
Congratulations. Big round of applause. Everyone's clapping in their car or at home right now or on their walk. That is so cool. Congrats to those kids. That's amazing.
But the experience, again, like I said, we had kids that's never flown on a plane before.
Yeah.
Never been to the beach. All of these different things. It was a week-long event. So we play one day, then we're off the next. Then play the next day, off the next. So on those off days, we were able to do those things and go experience different things, for these kids.
You're not just teaching a sport. You're teaching them life experiences.
Absolutely.
But the words that you say, the way you pour into them, the experiences they have, when they do lose, how they can lose graciously and have that inspire them for their next thing. I mean, there's so many life lessons, right? What do you think is the biggest life lesson learned through football or through track, through sport?
Well, it's one thing that you said when they lose, they're learning these different things. I was thinking, and I just recently thought about this. I've never lost.
Yes. That Nelson Mandela quote, that quote, he says, I never lose, I either win or learn. Yes. Isn't that great?
I love that.
I do too.
And,
love
and I wasn't even privy to that quote, but, I was just thinking about that the other day. We lose games and stuff like that all the time, but we're learning from those games and we're learning about how to get better and what we'll do next time and all of those things. So, it's not losing. We always win. Yeah. We always win. And if we have that mindset that we're always winning, regardless of what the score is on the scoreboard, what did you learn about that and what can you do to make yourself better or to help someone else in that situation,
Could not agree more.
Because it's not all about you; it's about everybody else that's working with you.
That's right.
That's one of the things that I would advise is to, don't look at it as losing, but always winning or winning and learning.
Right. Yeah. You never lose. You're winning or learning, and it's so true because, after every competition, right? when you're driving home, it's an opportunity to talk about what you learned.
Oh, yeah.
Right. When you're on either the plane trip or the bus ride back, or how do you when those little spirits seem crushed, right?
Yeah.
Because they're still young, they're still learning, right? You and I know that we're learning a lot, even through the losses, right?
Yeah.
Or when the score didn't go our way.
Absolutely.
But for those little faces looking at you, what is it you say to them that kind of gives them that hope for the next time?
So I told my son this one day, or it was recent. We lost in the championship in the 9v9 league that I run, and he dropped the ball it would have sent us into overtime, give us another opportunity, but he dropped the ball, and he was so devastated. And I've learned a lot in my coaching years, and normally I'd be on him, don't worry about it, this and that, this. But one thing that I've realized too is that we have to let these kids sit through it. You know what I'm saying? They got to sit through it and think and work through it on their own first, and then we come and talk to them about it. Because if you're doing it like right after the situation happens, like the emotions can run anywhere. They're all over the place. The needle is just going back and forth. But I learned in that moment, I didn't even talk to him until later on, not even on the car ride home, but like the next day.
Right.
and I let him
So
sit
let him
in
sit
it.
in it.
Yeah, let
I
him
love
sit
that.
in it and think about, what was going on and what happened and all of that type of stuff, letting him grieve and cry and all of that. And then talking to him about it later. But
because they're already hard enough on
oh
themselves.
yeah, they
They don't need us.
Themselves.
They don't need
Absolutely.
us telling them. Right.
But at the end of when I did talk to him though, and what I would suggest that people always tell their kids or whatever other kids that you're working with is tell them how proud of them you are. Even if you aren't. Even if
Which
you
you
aren't
should
proud
be.
of them.
They
Which
worked
you
hard
should
out
be.
there.
You should be.
Yes.
Because regardless, we're in a society now where the bad thing is always highlighted. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so find that one little thing that they did right.
Well, for us in golf, because we have golfers,
Yes.
I always ask them what was their shot of the day.
Yeah.
I know, and I do that whether they won the tournament or they didn't.
yeah.
Like I want to know what was your shot of the day. Let's
Right.
focus on that, and that usually the conversation escalates from there to other things, not even golf related, wherever it is. But we never right away talk about the stuff that went wrong because they already know.
Yeah.
They already know that. Let's
Yep.
talk about what went right that day.
Yes.
And I'm not a coach, I'm just a parent, but I hope that is being translated into positive thinking and learning through, by
Absolutely.
going, hey, yeah, oh my gosh, I hit that drive 310 and that was awesome and that's what set
Right.
me up for that birdie or whatever.
Yes.
Then the conversation can go by focusing on the good.
Yes, and not to dismiss the bad
Right.
because you still want to learn from it.
Exactly. But at that moment.
But in that moment, yes, I'm all about the positivity of it and finding the good thing, telling them about the good thing. But they do know I'm gonna come back and be like, now let's talk about that.
After they sat in it a little.
Right.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
That is such great advice. I love it. So let's talk really quick before we get into some other questions. Really quick, how people can sign up, because I know right now you're in track.
Yes.
It's summer, kids are out of school. Yay, I can hear you cheering. Parents, I know you're going, what are my kids going to do all summer?
Yes.
Track is currently going on, but you have football that you're going to be signing up for in August, correct?
Yes. So
How can people sign up? Where can they find you? All the good things.
So it's power5sportsleague.org. That is our website. Is POW, the number 5 in place of the E.
Okay.
And then R, then sportsleague.org. So it's power5sportsleague.org, and we have all of our information on the website. You go to that website, you can click on the football portion and sign up for football teams, cheer as well.
Right.
Cheer teams on those football teams.
That's great. I love that you incorporate cheer in there.
Absolutely.
With it. I think that's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Yeah, we're not just catering to the boys. We want the girls out there as well, and some of them play football.
Yeah.
too, so
I know. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so we got Football open. The registration is open right now. We just closed track registration because we have a track meet in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so we had about 75 kids out there for track this year.
Wow.
And it's just growing and growing every year. I don't know.
And is it just a summer league or what?
Yes.
So in case they miss this year, they can do it next year. When do you usually sign up for that?
It's usually in March.
March, okay.
The beginning of March. And then, we actually open it in April. Well, I got to get my months right. Yeah, March. So we open it in March, and then we'll close it at the end of May.
Okay. Oh, close it at May.
Yes, ma'am.
And track is so good. Such a great sport.
Oh man,
it's so much fun.
I tell people all the time, track is the ultimate sport as far as if you want to get in shape for any other sport.
Yeah.
If you run track, it translates into any other sport that you play, with all of the different events and all of that type of stuff, and the different running, because it's different from sprinting and running long distance and all of that type of stuff, and even the field events and all of those things. So, yeah, I think it's good for. I encourage all the kids to be out in track. I know they don't like it, but
right. But it's going to help them in the long run.
But it's going to help them in the long run. I promise. That's one thing I had to learn. In high school, I was a 3-sport athlete in football, basketball, and track, and I didn't want to run track.
Right.
I hated running. But
you're not alone in that, I think. But
I know.
So good. It's so good for you.
But it's so good for you.
Yeah.
Our junior year, we missed going to state by one place. Mm-hmm. But we had another guy on our team named John McAfee, who ran the hurdles. He ran the 110s and the 300s. So he ended up going to state, but he was the only one, going to state from elite that year. Our coach, he actually took us down to the state track meet to watch him. And that right there, man, when he took us out there and just being out there in that atmosphere and seeing John out there dominating on the track in his events, I mean, I think he broke the record in both of them that year, in the 110s and 300s. And it just inspired us because we were juniors. So the next year, we had an opportunity to go to state. And we ended up going, and
you guys were inspired the year before by watching.
We were inspired the year before. Matter of fact, it was that same five, the Fab Five.
The Fab Five. Wait, y'all could sing and you could run track?
And we could run track. Well, one of them was a triple jumper, so he didn't run, but he triple jumped. But yeah, it was us five that went, and we ended up losing by 2 points with just us five. If we'd have placed higher in any one of our events, we would have won state.
Wow.
That was a great time too.
Yeah.
But yeah, track is awesome for anybody.
So what advice would you give to parents? Because I'm sure you've heard this before, John, but every parent feels their kid could go pro. They're the best kid ever. I know they're 8,
yes.
and in your eyes they are, and they should be. You should feel that. But what advice would you give to parents?
I mean, should you?
Maybe not. Let's be real.
That's funny. I mean,
what advice would you give to them? Because I know you've gotten these. What do I need to do to make my kid better?
Yeah. Man. I tell parents all the time, man. Like even my own. I think it's just about development and having fun.
Yeah. I agree.
It's the development and having fun. If you develop, because it's so many factors that plays into whether your kid is going to be a pro or not.
I couldn't agree more.
So many factors.
And you want it to be the kid's dream, not your dream.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, right?
Yes. Yeah. You want it to be their dream and not yours. Like we have so many dads, I would say, that didn't make it or didn't play in high school, but they gonna live that dream through their kid, and I really don't like that, man. I think that's being selfish, really. But the kid should, first of all, want to do whatever it is that they want to do.
Right. Now, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it?
If you're not having fun, why do it?
Couldn't agree more.
And because, like you said, everybody think they son or daughter is gonna go pro. But all of the factors that lead up to that, especially at this age, at 6, 7 years old, like I promise you, your kid, he may look like a quarterback right now, but he might be on the offensive line
Right.
when he get in junior high,
Right.
and vice versa.
Right.
And so I think it's just about having fun, man. Letting the kid be the kid, and you just be the parent.
I love that.
Let the kid be the kid, and you just be the parent.
That's perfect. On that note, we are going to do question of the day. All right, so we're sitting here today in Midland, Texas with John Norman, and we're talking all the things sports. We haven't even talked city yet. We'll get to that in a minute. But I've just loved this conversation because I think we all learn from each other, and I think with your experiences, what you're sharing with the kids in our area is truly a gift that we're lucky to have you pouring into the kids of West Texas. All right, what does your question say?
Okay, so we got Dazzle.
You got the Dazzle card, yes.
Okay. What life lesson did you learn the hard way?
Oh, good question.
The hard way, okay.
He's like, wait a minute, let me take a drink of my water here for a second. Let's all get ready for this one.
Okay, what life lesson did I learn the hard way?
Yes.
Oh, man. Pay your tickets.
Pay your tickets. That's a good one.
Pay your tickets.
That is a good one.
Because if you don't pay your tickets, you will get warrants and you will go to jail.
There you go. That's a good life
there you
lesson.
go.
That is a good life lesson. And so true. You think, you know what? Oh, it's fine. It was just a speeding ticket. It was just a parking ticket. No, they don't like it when you don't pay it.
Hey, man,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, and it goes from state to state. From state to state. You could be moving, they going to forget about it. And then, but you end up moving back. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. And stuff catch up with you, man. So just pay your tickets.
Good advice. And a good segue into talking city stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the city. You chose to run for city councilman a few years back.
I did.
City councilman, you are for your district, correct?
Yes,
So
District 2.
District 2, which is where we're at right now.
Absolutely.
Yes, right here at Rig ID. We're in District 2. What was it that made you say, that's it, I want to run to be on the city council?
My wife.
Okay. I love the honest answer.
Yeah.
Good job, Denise.
Well, yeah, she had a lot of influence. So, the story behind the city council, I've never been into politics or into, on any level.
Right,
City, state, government, all of that type of stuff. I've never been into it. I grew up, thinking like a lot of people where, all politicians are liars and all that type of stuff, and they gonna say what they want to say to get what they want to get and all of that. So I never was privy to that world.
Right.
When it came time for me to run the first time, it was about 4.5 years ago. My predecessor, he left, John Love, he left to go run for Senate. And at the time, I was getting a lot of phone calls. People were calling me, hey, you should run for city council. You should run for city council. At first, I was like, man, I don't even know what a city council person does. And so I was
because y'all do a lot.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes, we do.
and you didn't know going into it, right?
Right.
Probably
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
it was going to entail.
I didn't know anything.
Right.
And then, I kept getting these calls, and I can remember my wife and I, we were out of town. I think we were at a tournament or something, but we were out of town, and I kept getting these phone calls and stuff. And after one call, it wasn't one specific call, but it was just after several, and then one more call, I was like, well, shoot, I'm getting all of these calls. I probably ought to, look into this. God might be trying to tell me something.
Right.
And so I did. I started researching, what a city council person does, what are their duties, all of this type of stuff. And what I realized through my research is I was already doing it.
Wow.
Yeah. I was out in the community.
Right.
I was working with kids, working with different nonprofits, all of these things. But then as a city council person, I saw it as an opportunity to reach even more people.
Right.
So on the city council now, I'm dealing with everyone within the district. So I'm dealing with the elderly. I'm dealing with different city things like the trash, and basically it was service to more people than I was servicing at the time.
Yeah.
And so that's what, after my wife and I talked about it and prayed on it, that was the reason that I said, okay, let's go ahead and do this. And I ended up winning when I ran. It was a special election and all of that. And so I won and finished it was a half term, the second half of John Love's term. And when he came back up for re-election, I didn't have anyone running against me. So, which I kind of liked because I didn't like the campaign part.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that.
Yeah, I love people and everything, but just the campaigning and all of that type of stuff, that was probably the worst part for me. But, since I've been in that position, I'll be up for re-election in November. But I've learned so much about what a city council person does, who they are, and I like it. I like servicing and being that voice for the voiceless. A lot of people have things that they have suggestions, or they have things that they want to see done or want to get done, and don't know who to talk to, don't know how to get it done, or how to go about their business or whatnot. And so I kind of intercede for them on that aspect.
You get to connect them and help
Absolutely.
them. And what is it you love the most that in these 4 years? What is it that you feel like tells you, hey, I want to do it again and run again in November? What is it you love about it?
I think it's just about the influence and being able to help people. Since I've been on city council, one of the things that they know about me, because I've been a coach and working with kids and all of that type of stuff, I've been real into the Parks and Rec division, and very interested in how all of that works and everything. And since I've been on council, we were able to get the first multi-purpose fields on the east side of Midland at Reyes Mashburn Nelms, and they're now redoing the baseball fields over there. And so just being a part of that and having influence, like before, not to say that the previous council members didn't care, but it may not have been a priority on their list.
Right.
But I felt, and along with the other council members, we felt that it was a priority for us. It was a huge need, and those things are getting done. Yeah. Different roads and that hadn't been curbed and guttered in years are now getting curbed and guttered.
That's awesome.
Those are the things that why I want to run again. Right. When I have a elderly mother, I'll say, from the church, that contact me and say, thank you for getting this road curbed and guttered. They've been telling us it was going to be done, a long time ago, and it never did, but now it's getting done. And it's just adhering to the people's needs,
right.
Whether one may think they're big or small, whatever they are, that they're grateful that they're getting done and someone's listening to them.
That's important. That's important.
Absolutely.
I think everyone needs to be heard and listened to. And
Absolutely.
So I love that. If you had a wish list, and that's one thing I love about our podcast is, everyone that comes on, we love Midland, right? We wouldn't be choosing to raise our families here if we did not love Midland.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it is such a great community. It's been great to our family. I'm sure it's been great to yours. What wish list do you have? If there was something that you said, I really hope this for our community and for our town, what would that look like for you?
Well, it's interesting. We have a new city manager.
That's right. Yes.
Well, I say new. He's been there almost a year now.
Wow. That was a quick
in
year.
July, I know, right?
A quick year.
But
we need to get him on the show. Actually, I'm glad you said that.
Yes, you do.
We need to get Tommy on the show.
So when he came in, he talked with all the council members, and we talked about a 5-year strategic plan. And one of the things that, and you know, he wanted us all to say, you know, what we thought, you know, Midland should look like in 5 years and all of that type of stuff, and individually, and then we put it all together, you know, to create this strategic plan.
Nice, I love that.
For Midland. Yeah, it was a great deal. We've never had one, and I think now that we do have one, you know, we're focusing on that strategic plan.
Right.
So in mine individually, well, I like to think big. So
I love it. Dream big.
Dream
big right here.
So mine individually was I wanted to be the sports mecca of Texas.
I love it.
I want to be the sports mecca of Texas.
Why shouldn't it be?
Yeah,
right?
why shouldn't it be?
Yeah.
You know, so for so long, you know, we've no matter the sport, baseball, football, whatever it is, we've always traveled to the Metroplex, traveled to Dallas and Houston and San Antonio.
You're speaking our language right now. This is what we do. We do this for
weekend.
golf.
Yes,
for golf. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And so, you know, I've always wanted, especially since I've been on the council, I want to build something that people want to come here.
Yes.
You know, where we don't have to travel all the time. So, and I think we're on the pathway to doing that, you know, is getting these indoor facilities. You know, the syndicate is just now coming. And
I just saw the renderings online this week. Looks amazing.
Absolutely. And the fields that we've added and having turf fields, you know, that's, you know, don't take all the maintenance. I mean, because, you know, we live in a desert, you know, so it's going to take a whole bunch of water that we don't have to keep it pristine, you know. And so in the fields that we're getting, you know, in the future, you know, with Bill Park and all of those, you know, making that a huge soccer complex, and getting more fields added out at Scarborough Complex, and all of these things will have the facilities to facilitate these big tournaments and all of the things that come in with that. And when they come in, what they're going to do? They're going to spend money, and it's going to boost our economy and all of those things.
They're going to support our local. They're going to
support
eat
our
here.
local businesses.
They're going to shop
Absolutely.
here. That's right.
Absolutely. So, I said the sports mecca of Texas, and but they convinced me to say of West Texas right now, and then we can expand from there. So.
I like the dream big. I'm with you. I'm with you, John. Sports mecca of Texas.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Fantastic. Is there anything that you want our listeners to know about the city that maybe the average person that, you know, because if you haven't been in a city council meeting, I highly recommend it. It is, you learn so much, and you guys are so smart. I mean, just the things that you have to know and read and be knowledgeable about, and the numbers. Is there anything? So that's my little pitch to everyone should go watch.
Go to the city
go to a city
meeting.
council meeting.
Yeah.
You will really enjoy it. Is there anything you want people to know about the city that maybe they don't know?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that I want people to know about the city is that we're more and more becoming a progressive city. I know, you know, it's a narrative, or, you know, people have had the inclination that, you know, well, we're not progressive. We're still stuck in the old way and things like that. But I believe, especially with this council that we have now and our city staff, you know, we're starting to, you know, one thing that I love about Tommy coming in, and I tell people this who ask me, is that, you know, things that the council has been asking him to do, or because we get our direction from the people.
Right.
So the people ask us, and when we go to staff and ask them, one thing that I love is that the staff now is getting it done.
I love it.
They're getting it done.
That's awesome.
It's not, well, we'll see if we can do this. Well, let me see how we can get it done.
I love that.
And doing it at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the future is bright from what I see, whether I'm on the council or not. I think it's a lot of good things that's happening, and, you know, we're going to be, whether I'm on the council or not, we're going to be the mecca of something. If it's not sports, it'll be something else. You know, I mean, we already rule oil and gas.
Why not sports too?
Why not sports too? You
I
know,
agree.
I mean, get back to the days of the Friday night lights, you know.
Couldn't agree more.
yeah, so it's going in the right direction.
That's great. I love that. Love that. Love to hear that, because I think that's so important. Al always says, "Don't tell me how not, tell me how to."
Mm-hmm.
And I love that atmosphere is there. Let's get it done.
Let's get it done.
Let's figure it out. Everything's figure outable. So
Yes.
I love that. Okay, we do a thing called fun favorite things. Okay, so
Okay.
I throw things at you. You tell me the first thing that comes into your head. You ready?
Okay,
Well, first
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
try.
start with, what's your hype song? You're walking out. What's the hype song that's playing? Do you have one?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know if you got. I don't know if I had a clean version.
It's
but
okay. We're not playing it. We just want to know what your hype song is.
It's a "Here I Go" by Mystical.
Okay, here I
Yeah.
go. All right, sounds good. I love it. I love it. All right,
Yeah.
favorite book.
Favorite book, the Bible.
It's the best one.
The
It's
only
the-
one
it's
that
the
matters
best.
to me.
That's right. That's right. Favorite movie.
Favorite movie. Man, I love a lot of movies, man. My favorite movie would probably have to be. Man, there's so many. I'd probably say the Matrix trilogy.
Okay.
Just all three of them. Just
We need to watch that.
going.
We
Yeah.
watched with our son recently. We did all of the Mission Impossibles,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was fun.
Oh,
to like go through a whole.
Go through the whole series.
Yeah, so we need to do Matrix. He actually brought that one up. He said we
The
haven't seen the
Matrix.
Matrix. So okay.
And then
Are we-
Batman Return. Ooh,
Oh,
man,
that's a good
Batman,
one. I love Batman.
Ooh.
Favorite Batman. Who do you like that played it best?
Christian Bale.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's mainly because I like the Joker.
In that one.
What's his name? He passed away.
Is it Joaquin Phoenix?
No,
no,
not Joaquin.
not Joaquin. I know. I can picture him. I just can't think of his
he was
name
just the best Joker
right now.
ever.
Yeah, I got you. Right now, someone at home's Googling it for us. Thank
Yeah.
you. Whoever's Googling it.
I think he was when he in the Fast and Furious movies and stuff. No,
what
not
is
Paul Walker. He wasn't Paul.
No, what is the name? What is his name? Yeah. Oh, it's got an H. It's got an H. My son right now is at home yelling it at me because it's also his favorite.
Yeah, man, he's my favorite Joker, man.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we're going to come back to you on that. We'll
Yeah,
have Al
we're gonna
Google
figure
it.
it out.
Al, can you Google Joker and the Batman Returns or Batman that Christian Bale was in, please?
Yeah.
All right. Favorite food.
Favorite food.
Favorite food.
Oxtails.
What is it? what did you say?
What's it? Oxtails.
Oxtails.
Have you ever had oxtails?
Well, I'm a vegetarian, John.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
so no.
You are missing out.
So if I go
much.
back to eating meat, I will try oxtail for you.
Man, it is like a delectable food.
Okay. All right.
It's a soul food, you know. It's I can go on a whole nother thing about that.
That's
but
your
yeah.
favorite.
But yeah,
Okay.
I love oxtails.
All right. All right. I'm going to take your word for it. Favorite restaurant.
Favorite restaurant. I probably have to say a restaurant we don't even have, Papa Do's.
Is it Heath Ledger?
Heath Ledger.
It's
That's
Heath
who it
Ledger.
is.
Okay.
It is Heath
Al
Ledger.
came out and I thought he had it. So Heath
It is
Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Okay. Whew, the memory
Yes.
is working today. Okay.
A little slow, but it's
a little slow.
getting there.
That's the beauty of a podcast. We have all the time to Google
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
What was that? Oh, you got the hype song? Okay. I
Man,
love
you
it.
are playing that. I hope that's the clean version now. Come on now.
I don't think we have any FCC rulings on
Oh,
this.
okay.
So- okay, sounds good. Favorite coffee shop?
Favorite coffee shop. Right now it's been Black Rifle.
Oh, okay.
Love
That's
Black
good.
Rifle.
It is good.
Yeah.
We have some great coffee shops in town, don't we?
Yeah, we
Oh,
do.
I mean,
we
from-
have so many.
I know. It's
Yeah.
like, how do you choose every morning when you're driving down Big Spring? There's like one to your right, one to your left, another
Yeah.
one to the right. But so try them all. Try
But
them
yeah,
all.
I like Black. I like Black Rifle. But
Yes.
you know, when I'm at home though, I always drink Pike Place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from
Starbucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one's good. We drink
Yeah.
we drink a lot of coffee at home too.
Yeah, I any time of the day.
Favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast. This one.
Oh, thank you. I did not pay him to say that, I promise, but thank you.
No, I'll collect later on. No,
So favorite, I love this one. Favorite life hack, something you do that makes your life a little easier that you can share with our listeners today.
Man, it's a lot of them.
Okay.
But one that I did recently, I don't know about y'all, but I love TikTok. I've learned so many things on TikTok.
I've learned, I say I learned a lot of recipes on there, but I haven't used the recipes.
But haven't used them, yeah.
But I do like watching them. But yeah,
Man.
TikTok, you can learn everything, right?
So yes, I like to call myself like a jack of all trades, and but one of my hobbies, I love fishing.
Okay.
I love to go fishing.
That's awesome.
And I saw this life hack to me
Yeah.
as a fisherman. It was so simple, but it was a way that I could screw in a clamp
Okay.
onto my garage, and then I could hang my fishing poles
To store them.
to store 'em.
Love that.
And it worked perfectly. I got about 7, 8 fishing poles, and I
And then they're not getting
screwed
all
'em,
tangled
and they not getting
together.
tangled
And
stuff. And
yes.
you can let the garage up, and they just roll up to the top, and then they just roll on back down. I was like, man, this is amazing.
There you go. Life hack taught by TikTok.
By TikTok.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
All right. Favorite fun fact about you. We've already got a couple of you that you can sing, and you were in the Fab Five. But what's a fun fact we would not know about you by reading your bio, nobody knows about you? Of course, except for Denise, because she probably knows all your fun facts.
Yeah, she probably know everything. That'd probably be a good question to ask her, because I don't know if it's a fun fact. It might be a bad fact. I don't know. Let me see. I already said that too.
Yeah, you kind of leaked them out throughout the podcast. Yeah.
Because I mean, I love animals. Well, I'll give you one.
Okay.
I can draw a little bit.
Oh, that's great. So you're an
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah, I used to draw all the time. And
I
stuff.
love that.
I haven't drawn in a long time, but yeah, I used to be. That's actually what the elective that I was in before I went to choir.
Wow.
So yeah, I was in art class. But
Very cool.
Yeah, so
I love that.
I can draw a little bit.
So lots of fun facts we've learned about you today. I love
Yeah.
that. I think our art is so good. It's so good for the heart, for the soul, for
Absolutely.
everything. Favorite memory here in Midland?
Favorite memory here in man, you keep asking me questions about things that it's a lot of things that I do or listen to. But favorite memory here in Midland, well, that didn't happen in Midland. That happened in Odessa when we beat Permian.
Oh, that's a good one though. Hey, I mean, that works. I say you use that one.
Yeah, man, those were great games.
What year was that?
97.
97.
Yeah, or 96 football season. Yeah.
Nice.
But I guess my favorite memory in Midland. I don't know if it was. It's so many. It's so many. I don't want to.
You don't want to just pick one?
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll go with when you beat Permian.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that one.
And then all the
because we
others.
did beat them here too. But,
Yeah. See, there you go.
But the good game was at Rattler when we beat them.
Nice. Favorite. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Favorite college football team?
Okay. Favorite college football team? What do I have to say? Texas Tech?
Nope. You can say two if you want. You can say
No, but really, I don't really like. I like players versus teams.
Okay, so favorite player?
In college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give you this one. My favorite player in college right now is a kid that I've been training. His name is Lloyd Fungi.
Awesome.
He was at Texas Tech, and he entered the transfer portal, and he's now attending Vanderbilt.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yay. Let's give him a round of applause. That's so cool. Awesome.
Yeah, he's my favorite player, man.
Nice.
He
We'll
has
be
a lot
wishing
of-
him well and
a lot of
rooting
potential
for him.
upside. And, yeah.
Love that. Favorite NFL football team?
Oh man. Do I have to say
Yes.
it?
Yes, this you do.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, it's the Cowboys.
Yay.
I mean, I say
Don't
that
ever ever hesitate with the
Well-
Cowboys. This is going to be their year. They're going to the Super Bowl this year.
No. So I'm a realist,
and I am an optimist.
I feel you. And we have a lot of optimist Cowboy fans.
Yes.
It's funny. I used to. I didn't like the Cowboys when they were good. I was back when they won the Super Bowls.
Like,
and all
are you
that.
talking Emmitt Smith?
Yeah,
You're talking
I didn't even
Deion?
like them then.
Okay, I did. Yeah.
Well, when Deion came, that's when I
Okay.
started liking him.
Okay.
Because that was my favorite player.
Right.
But we used to have the NFC Championship parties. I'd be in there rooting for Jerry Rice and all of them in the 49ers. And but like I told you, I grew up half my life in Dallas. So when I actually moved to Dallas, that's when I really became a Cowboy fan, and they were sorry then. And I was like, dang. I mean,
You're like, man, I moved here too late. What happened to him?
And I'm talking about, I was a fan to where, like, we had season tickets, and all my brother and I, we bought season tickets and everything. And man, shoot. And then I'm not the one that think we're gonna win the Super Bowl every year.
But you're not going to give up on them, are you?
But it's just hard to give up on them. That's why I like players more so than just the team. So like I feel like I've earned the right. I feel like I've earned the right to put them down and then pick them back up again.
Okay, because you're a true fan.
Yeah, because I'm a true
you're
fan.
a true diehard fan.
Go.
You can do that. Do you have a favorite player then?
I have a lot of man. I like Patrick Mahomes, man.
Oh, isn't he great?
Yeah,
he's fun to watch.
Yeah,
he is so fun
he's
to
good,
and a
man.
good guy.
Yeah,
I mean, good guy.
yeah.
Did you ever meet him?
I've
Did you ever meet him at Tech?
Yeah, I've never met. Nah, he
Okay.
came way after me.
Yeah.
I was way long gone, but no, I hadn't met I hadn't met him yet. But like I was telling you, my idols. Well, Ray Lewis was one of them, and then Deion Sanders was the other one, and I met both of them, and so I've been fortunate enough to meet my idols growing
That's
up.
pretty cool. That's awesome. Because not everybody does. Not everybody gets
I know.
to meet their idols.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, we're running out of time. Yes.
Uh-oh.
So we are coming to the conclusion. I have, let me go through my list. I don't think I need to ask you your favorite, no. Well, we've talked about, do you have a favorite brave moment? Favorite brave moment in your life?
Brave moment?
Yeah, a moment in your life you were brave in 30 seconds or less.
In 30 seconds or less. A brave moment.
Brave moment.
I guess a brave moment, I don't know, would have been just sticking up for, and there's been a few occasions where, like, I don't like bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've always stuck up for the bullies.
The
for
people being bullied.
People being
Yeah.
bullied by bullies.
Yeah.
And I've done that like several times throughout my life.
That
like
is a brave moment.
even in school and teaching my son the same thing. Because he doesn't have my personality, but shoot, that's what brings me joy, man. Like he had a brave moment where he stood up for himself here recently, and it was after I had that talk with him. And it was
That's awesome.
That's what I like.
I love that. As we come to the conclusion of today's podcast, is there anything coming into it you were like, oh, I hope we talk about this, but we didn't, and that you'd love to get out and share with our listeners or viewers right now?
Man, there's so many things, man. We just have a lot going on with Power 5 Sports League, and I can tell you, Roundup, my nonprofit, is the main thing that I want people to know about. I think it's one of the things that sets us apart from any other sports league or sports agency or whatnot. Roundup is basically a curriculum that my brother and I built, and it's a life skills curriculum.
Oh, I love that.
It's called a 3 C's program,
Okay.
Which focuses on character, community outreach, and building life and academic champions. I actually
awesome.
taught. I was teaching this class in MISD pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Then when COVID hit, everything, had to pivot or whatnot.
Right.
But I do have this program, and I'm implementing it in the process right now. It should be done by the end of the month, but in the process right now of making it an online program.
I love it.
So we can, just like we want the kids to not be in this bubble and reach out everywhere, we want to reach this curriculum out everywhere and everybody have access to it.
That is fantastic. Well, I wish you the best with that, because I think there's nothing better than pouring into kids, and what you're doing is truly honorable to our community, because
Thank you so
they're our
much.
next generation. They're
Absolutely.
and they're children. They need help. They need guidance. They need someone like you that's pouring into them. So thank you for doing that, and for serving
ma'am.
our community as a city councilman, because I know that is near and dear to your heart as well. So thank
It
you. Thank you.
is.
In conclusion, what do you want your legacy to be?
What I want my legacy to be, I've had that question asked to me several times, and I don't know if I want a legacy as much as I want people to know that, I care about people. I mean, I do what I do because I care, and I think a lot of times, we, in society nowadays, we just think about what can we do for ourselves, or how can I do this, how can I do that? But I'm always thinking about, if I do say, how can I do this, but it's how can I do this to help this person,
Right.
or how can I do this to make that better? And so, yeah, I would just want people to know that I genuinely, truly care about people. I don't like parents all the time in my field, but
I'm sure you are not alone in the teacher coach field.
Yes, but I love people.
It's hard.
Man, and,
a lot of personalities.
Yes,
Yes,
it is. But I think that's what keeps you grounded, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be just easy peasy all the time, and
Right.
shoot, those kids are looking at us on how we deal with situations, including their parents.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
true. Well, it's a beautiful legacy, and you're already living it. You're doing a great job at it, because I think people do
appreciate
know you care, for sure. And I cannot thank you enough for spending time with us today. This has been so much fun, hasn't it? Yes, I
Yeah.
know. I loved it. I know
Yeah,
Al's
my
over there
first
going,
one.
yay.
I love it.
I love it. And we've learned so many fun facts about you. Please follow Roundup Inc., Power 5 Sports League. See, his phone's ringing because he's a busy
Yeah.
guy. He's got to get going. But
I'm surprised. This is the first time it rained since we've been sitting here.
we appreciate you listening and learning and growing with us today, and you support this local business and entrepreneur and small. We didn't even get to talk about small business, owning a small
man.
business. That's a whole nother podcast, John.
Yeah,
But
we had to come back for round
that's
two.
right. But we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for listening. Oh, and I didn't even get to show this beautiful ring. For those of you
yeah.
watching on YouTube, this was from your 11. Is this from the
No,
championship?
this is actually the championship, the first ring from our league championship of last year. So
This is as close as I'm getting to winning a football ring, but I'm so grateful for this. This is awesome what you're doing for these kids. I mean, this says it all. This is really cool that you're pouring into them, and that they are learning championship skills on and off the field.
on and off the field.
And I think that's so important. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Thank you.
Thank you to our sponsors. Really quick, we want to shout out Kevin Foreman Financial, Rig ID, Workwear, Thin FR, JoinCapClub.com, Tapestry Hotel Midland, and Hotel Santa Rita Midland. Thank you for supporting local, and thank you for being with us through this Krista Escamilla Show journey. I have loved sharing the great stories like John's. It truly does warm my heart for all of you to get to know him more, because I think when we know each other more, we are a kinder society and kinder to each other, and we can do good things all together. So let's keep doing the good work, and don't forget to dream big right here. That's
big.
my motto: dream big, believe, and never give up. Thanks for joining us. You make it a great day.